Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Just before we get started, if you could all in the chat window just confirm that you could see the screen and also hear me clearly. If you can get a quick confirmation, I think we can move on. Okay, we got a couple of confirmations. So thank you everyone for joining. Today, joining us, we have Jasminder Gulati, co-founder and CEO at NowFloats. He spent more than a decade at Microsoft before embracing entrepreneurship. He, of course, co-founded NowFloats, a Hyderabad-based startup. I'm sure many of you already have heard about him, which focuses on empowering small and medium businesses get online instantly, really, and without, of course, spending a whole fortune. His startup recently got acquired by Reliance Jio. We are, of course, very, very happy to have him here today to talk about taking those tough decisions about downsizing in such difficult times. Uh, you was something that you guys might or might not know. He's actually worked with Bill Gates before, and what he's done in the last 10 days, he's actually started two different websites, indiastayathome.com and worldv3.org. I think Jazz will give us some more insight about those further in the talk. Last thing before we get started, please be ready to ask your questions by raising your hand. After Jazz finishes his presentation, we'll take a Q&A session. So without any further delay, let's start. Jazz, if you can take it forward. Thanks.
Certainly. Thanks, Jayant. Jayant, I'm audible, right? So just checking with you first.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Welcome all. Thank you for coming into this online event. Thank you, obviously, for T-Hub to set it up all together and pull it in a short period of time. What I'm going to do today over the next 45 minutes or so is perhaps only reiterate all that you people already know. I think there's not going to be any earth-shattering insights in this talk, but I can certainly vouch that there is a reiteration of what call to action you need to do, and I think I'll be very happy at the end of this call if some of you are moved towards some actions at the end of this call if you have not done so already. So kicking right in, the motivation for the topic comes from a few books that have changed a lot in my life, and people who've not read this book, this is the time to Kindle it. This is not the time to order it on hard copy, but this is certainly the time to get that and read that. This is Ken Horowitz, Hard Things About Hard Things. And while I'm on books, I'm almost through another book that I'm reading, which is called The $1 Trillion Coach, and it's with Eric Schmidt and some other people. And that's the first two recommendations I'm making. As founders, as entrepreneurs, as people who are in their head changing the world, and very importantly so, it is extremely vital for all of us to understand that there is a need for entrepreneurs and founders to read. I have emphasized that many times. I say it again today. Pick up these books. This is the time to do it. You have no excuses, and in the current situation. So absolutely pick it up. And even if you had excuses, I would have still expected every one of you to, at least get different perspectives in your life. Anyway, jumping right in, the hard times have hard things. The hardly about 4 days back, we put a site together. Mekin, who is in the co-founding team at Flipkart, Avinash, Raghava, who you people might be aware of, was at NASCO many years, and then started Product Nation, which became iSpirit, and now is with Axel. Three of us with a bunch of other volunteers came together, and we launched this site. And it was a very exciting time for us to do this, even when everything was crumbling, as falling apart around us, was to say that everything has changed. And so certainly to the people in this room, I'm going to be extremely aggressively vociferous saying, you got to understand in your head first that things have changed. And some of you got forced because of your businesses and the circumstances, but there are some others who are still lying on the periphery, who are still on the fence, who are probably saying, everything's going to go back to normal, everything's going to be okay. While there is truth in everything is going to be normal, and we all hope that it will be, I think some extremely large macro socio-economic changes have happened. And it's important for you to understand that this is now an opportunity for you people, right? You got to start understanding in that way. So anybody who's saying, yaar, ye na, sab theek ho jayega, this is going to go back, I encourage you all to go into yourself and first think of this as, no, everything has changed. Everything has changed. Everything that we thought about, the whole world has stopped at the same time. In one particular week, the whole world, it has taken hours for the whole world to come to a grinding halt. And it's happening at the same time for everyone. You can debate that there are people in some parts of the world who are still going to the beaches and still feel nothing is wrong, and that's fine. But generally speaking, making a very large generic statement, the whole world has changed. It's happened together. It's at the same time. And perhaps for the first time on earth, a majority of the population is occupied in their head with one thought. Now that's very powerful for me. Okay. And I want to keep that, very, very alive with you people. It's very, very powerful for me to know that the whole world is aligned on one thought. Suddenly, for a change, we are not fighting each other. We are fighting one common enemy, and we got, we all have become together in this struggle. So we set up this site called World V.3, and we're basically saying, how are you going to imagine the future? Not in the way we imagine in usual ways. This is almost the word version 3.0. I think after the Second World War, all the way till about a month back, the world was on a version 2.0. Internet, industrial revolution, communications, everything happened in the last 30, 40 years post the Second World War. But this is a new change. I don't want to say this is World War III, but this is the new change.
Jas, you actually lost your screen at this moment, just a second ago.
Sure, give me a second. One second. Are we back?
Not. Yes, now we're back. Yes, you can continue.
We're back. Yeah. Just a second. Let me get to. So I think, as I said, the world has changed. We are in this version 3. Some new things are going to happen across the world. You guys are going to see it. I mean, if you're not seeing it around you, you're going to see it sooner than later. I don't want to be insensitive on this statement. It does sound a little bit insensitive because we are dealing with a bug here, unfortunately, and any mention of that is insensitive. But I do want to make sure that to this close group that is here, you got to fundamentally see this as a feature. You got to see this as a redefining moment for you, yourself, and your business. And I'm going to say something hard. As I said, this call is going to be a little hard things about hard times. Unfortunately, we don't have much choice but to think about this as a feature. There are only two choices all of you have right now. One is to go into your shell, shut your companies, blame it to this epidemic, move into something else. If your startup was not doing well, this is a brilliant time to blame it. If your relationship at home was not working, brilliant time to say, hey, things didn't work out. This is beautiful for many people who want to escape. This is the best escape chute nature has given you. But for others who have a different sort of a grit and a different sort of an understanding and a different sort of an orientation, this is a feature. This is something. This is reset time. This is rethinking. This is new ways of doing business. Not asking you to shut your businesses, guys. This is the time to reinvent that business, because a lot of fundamental things have happened. A lot of fundamental things have happened. Many people compare this time as the demonetization moment for India. A lot of people are saying that, right? It is. It is. This is, I've all believed very strongly that we are not a country where a lot of apps go viral or technology becomes viral, unlike perhaps China or the Western world. Have you noticed that in India things really don't become that viral? It's because the way we are as a country. We are a very diverse, very opinionated, perhaps very lazy, if I may say so, in this group, because I'm going to be talking hard. We are very lazy. We're very diverse. We have very vernacular differences. Very our orientations are different. But what sells in Punjab probably doesn't even sell in Haryana, let alone Tamil Nadu. And then that's why we've not been able to create a very ubiquitous technology virality framework, and it doesn't work, right? It's very hard. People learn differently, people absorb differently, and now everybody's forced to listen in. Everybody's forced to tune in. Everybody has no choice but to save their business by going online. Everybody is looking for the next product online. Everybody's talking to each other. Everybody's taking help. And again, as I said, these are amazing times. All the businesses that you are doing while doing either feet on the street or pushing it, or is this suddenly changed? And then again, for people who are in the business of a delivery or logistics or essential services, hey, life has changed for you as well. I think you have got a validation for your survival and your scale, which is brilliant. But more importantly, you figured out the next 10 tools. You figured out how to do contactless delivery. You figured out scaling. You figured out how do you go find new people, how do you sanitize people, how do you train people, how do you do logistics and supply chains in a much more effective manner than they were doing earlier. How do you become product innovators overnight? I mean, how do you shut off some categories, start some categories? So many things, so many things have happened. And again, as a part of this feature, I can only give you few inspirations. I mean, look at the businesses around you. How many have pivoted? Almost every education startup is now doing online. Every other business which was, I'm getting very close to this one startup called Trice, Hyderabad startup. People who live in Pebble, PBEL. I don't know if they have played Tambola on it. If they are already on this call. I was hunting for something and I found that you can play Tambola with your community. Now, Pebble, the community had adopted this particular app to, frankly, do community stuff. It was a home chef app. I'm making, aloo paranthas and you are making dosas in your house. Can I make an extra aloo parantha and deliver it to your house? And can you give me your extra dosa? It was that. It was OLX for communities. I can sell my bike. You can buy my bike within the community. And we all know, thanks to MyGate and Adda and all, this is a large business again in India. The communities is a large business. There are millions of them across the country. But these guys chanced upon this game of Tambola and they play it online. And gosh, I played it the other day. Now look at what this company did. In 3 days, if you go to their Play Store and look for that app, it talks about community gaming. It doesn't talk about home chefs because you cannot share food with each other. But you all know that the Google Play Store takes what, 24 hours, perhaps 8 hours, perhaps sometimes 48 hours to approve your Play Store. A new app, it takes time to approve your text. It takes time to do your description, to update your screens. It takes time, guys. But these guys did it. What, 48 hours, 72 hours? The whole place is playing Tambola, and I think multiple other places are playing Tambola. So for this company, this was a feature. right? This company was a feature. They didn't take this as a bug. They said, oh, wow, can we quickly create a game? Now, again, like the delivery people, logistics people, this is the change that you have to show in your business. Some of you are thinking right now, hey, Jazz, what are you talking? My business is so different. I give HR software. I have, I am trying to make a new pair of shoes. People are not buying online. Jazz, what are you saying? And that is what I'm encouraging you to think. Get off the fence. Get off the fence. Every business is fundamentally changing, guys, and it is changing for the good. Changing for the good. Please consider this as a feature. Now, who would have imagined that Zoom is going to become bigger than WhatsApp? It is. It is the #2 thing in the world today, and WhatsApp has fallen to #9, both in the Play Store and the number of. Now, was Zoom a great technology? Absolutely. Were their compression algos wonderful? Absolutely. Did they reinvent video? Yes. Were there other people in the market when Zoom came out? Absolutely. The millions of tweets are saying, hey, Jazz, Google Hangout works brilliant for me. WhatsApp calls, video are brilliant to me. What is this whole thing about Zoom? And then in that lies the opportunity that Zoom had or had created for itself. AirMeet, all of us are on this call online with AirMeet. You know what? Zoom requires you to download a binary on your laptop. AirMeet does not, which means AirMeet is a today generation product. It's completely online, doesn't have a binary. It works. And of course, there are other features I can talk about AirMeet, and I won't for conflict. But it's amazing. It's amazing how now Zoom. I'm going to say something very important about Zoom now. I had thought Zoom was somewhere between an aspirin and a vitamin. You guys understand the difference? It's good. It's nice. It's a good, beautiful technology. I do it for remote working, not in the same city, not in the same office. It's a remote working for across the world, and my teams which are distributed, right? And again, understand that we are a different country. If you were to go to the Western world, people were using Zoom within the same campus of the same organization because that's how they work. They don't, prefer to walk across and, take that 20 minutes to walk across and sit down. People will get down to work from their workstations where they are. And this work from home or work from your seat, if I may say so, in the US is a very, it's a very, it's a very ubiquitous behavior in the US. Or in the Western world, people focus more on the work and use technologies around that versus really going out and not meeting people when they don't need to. And it was but again, was Zoom a vitamin or an aspirin? It was somewhere in middle for me, right? And we all know what an aspirin and a vitamin is, and I don't need to explain it to this team, but I know you understand aspirin क्या होता है, विटामिन क्या होता है. Aspirin बहुत जरूरी है, vitamin good to do है. मेरे लिए Zoom बीच में था. It was somewhere in the middle, but suddenly it's become an aspirin. And that's where I'm encouraging all of you. In Trice, the application was a vitamin. Suddenly Tambola has become an aspirin. So in your application, in your product, in what you guys are doing, there are aspirin possibilities in what you are doing. I would encourage you to go hunt them first in the current circumstances, because we are talking about right sizing. That's my first ask of you. If you're right sizing, right size your product. And I'm going to come to what right sizing means about your team and other things. Everybody's thinking, shall I fire my people or not? Just wait, hold on to that thought. My ask number one, right size your product. There are opportunities lying in your product or your orientation or your abilities where you can change the product and make it more towards aspirin. Now, if you don't have that, okay, and in the two examples that I have, do HR people need to have a new module for remote home working and see the efficacy of the people? Yeah, there you go. The HR software now becomes aspirin. Does the shoe company selling sneakers have were they a vitamin? They were a vitamin. Now suddenly, if you don't work out, gosh, you have to work out. Everybody must work out. Our physical condition organization is really at its rock bottom. We are not getting out of our chairs. We are watching. You cannot walk out. Somehow you cannot step down. That shoe that you are selling suddenly become an aspirin. So get down to that aspirin. Get down to that. Thinking about it in an aspirin. Suddenly Zoom is an aspirin. A lot of people talk to me and say, Jas, is right sizing equal to firing up people?
Yeah.
I know my screen has gone again. Yeah, hold on. Jayant, remind me to tell the Airmeet guys that this is not working. 1 second, guys. So I am guilty of saying something which I'm going to say next is, when this started about 15 odd days back, I was, I have about 4 investee companies. I'm mentor. I guide another 2 startups. So let's say there are 6 startups I'm very deeply involved with. Let's just say that I am. And, 1 second, I'm still trying. And telling people that, okay, this is reconnecting. Can you guys hear me?
I think there's a slight breakup in your audio as well, Jas. Can you just switch off your video once to see if we can improve the quality that way? Yeah, we can see the screen now. Yeah, we can see your screen and we can hear you clearly.
Lovely. So, right sizing, this is confession. पता नहीं कितने दिन जीना है तो जितनी confession है कर लो. Yeah, I would love to have some feedback on what I talk, but anyway. So, I was the first guy who sent out an advisory saying, guys, this is the time to cut slack in your company, cut people, cut all the flap possible, cut. And I said that I'm guilty of it. This was 1st of March. I will confess that many people also told me, Jas, you are a very dark guy. You're a very doomsday. You like doomsdays, Jas. That's, we know you. You keep talking about the worst case situations very, very quickly. And I am that kind of a personality, guys, if you want to know that. I'm a paranoid, panicky, react very quickly. Many of you people on this call, I'm seeing you, you know me, and you will all agree that I'm that kind of a guy. So if I'm that kind of a person, how am I using my orientation and my personality to make decisions quicker than the world? Again, I call myself a feature and not a bug. I sent out this advisory to my team saying, cut people, cut everything, including send a mail to your rental, to your partners, to your vendors saying you will not be able to pay. By the way, this was 2nd of March. 2nd of March. I'll send you screenshots, and people said, I've gone mad. People said that, why are you panicking so much? And I said, guys, if we are ahead of the curve as entrepreneurs, we see the world before the whole world does. Damn it, we will see this problem before the whole world does. Obviously, things changed significantly after that. In the worst of my thinking also, it all happened. But again, now I'm changing my whole screen. For last 10 days, I've been telling people right size, which means right size your product, right size your relationships, right size your distractions, right size your vendor agreements. Send that advisory to the rents that you owe to people that you're not going to be able to pay. It is the truth. Do it. People in this call who are listening and have not done it so far are behind the curve. Now, you can choose to remain behind. I am just saying hard things. You can do whatever you guys want, but I have told you, if that mail has not gone officially from your mail ID to, there are, out of all my 6 companies that I'm deeply involved with, at least 3 of them have at least 100,000 additional Google Cloud credits, which they have been able to procure, $100,000. Now, some of you are saying, Arey, I also want it. It's available. Write that mail to Google. Write that mail to AWS. Write that mail Write that mail to your office provider. Write that mail to the people who person gives you chai. Write that mail to Cafe Coffee Day who gives you coffee machines. Write that mail. Remember, I've said that and I'll repeat. The world has changed for the entire world at the same time. So you have to be proactive. The only thing you need to do is proactively do something. And if you don't do anything proactively right now, you have perceivably, visibly given up. If you want me to repeat that line, I can repeat it. If you are not visible right now in things that you're doing on your product or your vendor relationships, partners, or customers, everybody knows that you're visibly given up. And we are trying our best as NowFloats. We just launched we're just launching a telemedicine platform. We have about whatever 3,000 odd doctors on our website platform, and we've just going to launch the ability for them to consult you remotely using a video screen from the website. So karna padta hai, guys. Even though we are somewhat comfortable, karna padta hai. You have to do it. You're not going to stop because whatever happened, right? You got to do it. So please listen. This is about resizing your capabilities. It's about resizing everything that you're thinking. I'm going to make a large fourth point that I think I made three big ones, and this is the fourth one. People who have I set up this site called indiastayhome.com and .in, but it's .com right now, and I did it the day our Prime Minister announced we are going to a 21-day lockdown. For people who don't know, I'm an old guy, which means I don't know if I want to say how old I am, but I am older than all of you, perhaps, other than Vivek, whom I saw online as probably as old as me. But I built that site single-handedly, alone, using online tools, and within 18 minutes, including buying the domain, including changing the CNAME, including doing the images, including writing the copy, including putting the pages, including hosting it, including tweeting it, and including Instagramming it. 18 minutes. That's the capability I brought to the table that night. I'd never done it before. I built a lot of NowFloats websites. They are all business websites. They are for a separate purpose. This was a different website. I needed it as a staticky site. I wanted to make this into just a campaign, so to say. It was not for businesses like what NowFloats does. But I did it in 18 minutes. I went and built the logo on Canva. It's all done in 20 minutes. Let's say half an hour for this conversation. Right? That is my capability. I forced myself to do it. I'm asking all of you to force yourself in new capabilities. If you think you can outsource something which you can do in 5 minutes, those days are gone. That you could walk across somebody, whiteboard it, and the guy will understand or the girl will understand and do it for you. You got to go pick up that laptop and do it yourself. Please listen to the new capabilities you have to build in right sizing who you are. I often hear people say the following to me, and this is very freaky. The founders who are tech suck at marketing. The founders who are good at marketing and tech suck at people. The founders who are good at marketing, tech, and people suck at operations. And there's nobody who's good at all four and sucks at something else. So these four are really big. The point I'm making is, and this is an example I give very often. Have you ever walked up to a doctor and said that I've got malaria or I've got very high fever and shivering, and the doctor says, oh, I can't treat you because I don't like treating such patients, and secondly, in my exams I left this in the optional topic. I had to crack only 4, I had to only get 40 marks for passing. So I didn't study about malaria. Have you ever heard a doctor say that? So the point I'm making is, if you are an entrepreneur and a founder and you come and tell me, Jas, I can't market, I can't distribute, I can't run people, I suck at operations, I'm not a good product guy, then you are not an entrepreneur, right? You got to either become that or orient yourself to that, or you show me that you've hired the right person for it. You show me you can motivate and inspire the right person to help you where you have shortcomings. So if you have shortcomings, A, you can no longer defer it. B, it's not optional. And C, hey, this is the time to learn. As entrepreneurs, were you an entrepreneur before? No. As mothers, did you have a child before you became the mother for the first time? No. So then please sit down today and perhaps learn something which you never learned, or it is so boring to you people that you defer it, that you procrastinate about it. And that's a very big sin as a founder in these days. Your procrastination and you're easily bored, and I don't like doing it, is perhaps not right sizing yourself. Okay, you are not right sizing and doing the hard things which this time asks. Finally, said a lot of things, but finally, 10x focus, guys. Team, customers, partners, family, all of it, all of it. The wonderful thing that we have seen is that everybody's working remotely, and I think we are doing a very good job of it. I certainly believe so, and I think this is a beautiful time. I again, a confession. Don't you tweet about this, please, or quote me. This lockdown, 21 days, has been wonderful for the country. Everybody has learned how to work and ship products and ship stuff. Bosses have suddenly started focusing on people's delivery capabilities versus to office nahi aaya. I didn't see you in office. आधे लोग ऑफिस में तो सुट्टा ही मार रहे हैं या चाय पी रहे हैं. अब बदल गया सब कुछ. Everything has changed, guys. Now you've been given a task. God damn it, you really have to deliver. Because if you don't, I don't care if you're having cigarettes at home and spending time with family, but if you don't, well, tough days to get a job. Very tough days. And the new technology is there to help you. There is, oh God, I mean, I've started using Notion, and I think I've become an evangelist for so many companies, I believe. But I've started using new tools, absolutely new tools. Every day a new tool. Why not? No, why not? I can give packets of work. I have become good at defining packets of work. I can now define a packet of work which I never did, which I thought, चलो ऑफिस पहुंचता हूं, किसी से बात कर लूंगा, वो कर लेंगे. सब लोग 11 बजे ऑफिस पहुंचते हैं after traffic. You're already sapped out. First smoke break, then a tea break. By the time I've given the brief, it's 4 o'clock. Everybody's willing to go home. No longer. No longer. I think we are in amazing times. I think as a country, we are in amazing times. I think the effectiveness of our people is significantly improved. Another confession, number 5. I have probably worked harder in the last 10 days than I have worked in the last four months combined. I'm pulling 12-hour days. And most of you are, I know this, because you're at home, the laptop is in front of you, you're entrepreneurs, you're driven differently, you're online, boss, you're online. You're online. Your family is not asking you to come home because they know you can't go to work, so they're allowing you to work in your room, and gosh, are we working? Are we working? Right? And finally, I want to talk to you about health. I'm not the best guy to talk about it, but I do have a lot of discipline. I might not have excellent health, or I don't, I'm not running the next half marathon. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not the gym guy, but I have excellent discipline. I sleep on time. I don't have dinner beyond 7 p.m. I eat very, very well. So, I'm covering up somewhere. Okay, I don't smoke. I rarely drink. I'm pretty active in the house. I don't know about you, but I think I'm a great jhadu pocha guy. I think I could easily win I would certainly come in the top 10 jhadu pocha in this city. Okay, if anybody wants to do a challenge on that, I'm happy to do that. My wife doesn't allow me to wash dishes. That also, if she allows me, I think I'll master that and I'll become top 10. But I'm that keeps me fit. So these are all interesting times. So health is important, guys. And when I say health, I also mean mental health. You can't go down. So please, please, please find that time, resize, right size your health. Hard times, guys, hard times. If your health is not good, you will not be able to get out of this. You will not be able to inspire, motivate. You won't be able to start your everyday morning at 8 a.m. And as one of the few things I'm encouraging all of you to do after this call, for my sake, if you've learned something from me, कल सुबह 8 बजे काम करना शुरू कर दीजिए घर से 7:30 बजे 7:30 a.m. and 8. Do it for 4 days and make a call to me, say how your life has changed. I guarantee you will make that call and say, gosh, Jas, you are so right. 7 o'clock is the best time to sit and work. Even when you have remote teams, and trust me on a few things, blindly trust me on a few things. Anyway, I wanted to not talk a lot today. I wanted to really keep it very crisp. I know we've taken some time, but I didn't want to extend this. Everybody has to go work. This is not a 2-hour session. This is probably 1 hour. Jayant, get ready for questions while I'm closing out. Guys, get ready for questions. I'm going to repeat what I said, but very quickly, if there are some questions, I'll be reading as I talk. So please start sending me a question. So again, guys, I'm going to summarize. दुनिया बदल गई, इकट्ठे बदली. ये बहुत अच्छा time है. This is a very important time for us. Entrepreneurs, keep your exuberance, your product, your change, everything up. Use technology, make the aspirin part of your product out. Talk about it, message it. Understand people are looking for you. People are looking for your products. Trust me, right now they're sitting at home and doing exactly that. Don't fire your people. Right size them. Give them more tasks. Give them packets of tasks which are more than what you would give them at work. Load your people to work. Overwork them. Right size your capabilities. Right? And in Germany, if you are working from 7:30 to 4, that's the time. Tell your team you're going to work at 7 and end at 4 and see the amount of goodwill you're going to get from your teams. Absolutely. And if you're doing it in India, amazing. Questions? Thoughts? Suggestions?
I think we have one. Jas is someone actually missed the starting part of the session. So if you could briefly summarize the different points you've made, it would help him.
If someone missed the starting part of what I've said, then he has to find the time to ask someone else, because this is a hard call, and sloppy people are not good for their companies.
Yeah, we will also get a recording of the session, guys. So we'll send that out when we get that. So don't worry about getting the full summary again. Please ask your questions. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to ask the difficult questions and get those difficult answers from Jas. So please, guys, raise your hands. Okay, we have one raised hand.
Vagish.
Hi.
Shrikant.
Yes. We have Vagish online. Vagish, can you ask your question?
Hi, Josh. This is Vagish. Actually, it's a very interesting discussion, tips you have given us. We are in the process of starting a new venture, actually. I live in Australia. I come from Australia and setting up a new technology product. It's about water management. The one thing I liked about you said is starting the work at 7 o'clock, which is what actually I've been used to in other part of the world where the work starts pretty early in the morning, 7:30 or by 8 o'clock. But in Indian context, it's quite late actually. People start at 9:30, 10, 11 o'clock. So I'm trying to actually implement that culture, in my company to start early. The challenges I could be facing, the attitude of people or the behavior where, no, we started late, how do we kind of change that culture or bring that culture, and people to accepting that, the behavior and the attitude. Because I know the culture in India, people start at 10:30, 11, and go up to 8, 7, 8 or 9 o'clock in the night. Whereas, we are used to, but 7 or 8 o'clock from 5 to 5 or something like that, we'll knock off. But that's what I want to bring it here. Do you think that will be an easy task or challenging task?
Vagish, I have two answers for you. First, when people were turning up late in India, you know what they were blaming it on? Tell me, what do people blame on coming to office late? Tell me quickly, and I want everybody to see. Tell me.
The traffic could be one they'll come up with.
Okay.
And
there's no traffic, Vagish. Working from home, there's no traffic. Next.
Because
so the point I'm making is, this is the time to change that culture. If somebody is not able to start working for you, if you feel 9 o'clock is the standard time in India, to go stay with it, don't worry. But if you feel like I feel that people start working at 8, nobody can give you an excuse. Correct. And nobody can use this as a time when they will not do it. Okay, hard things about hard times, be super hard. I would even say to people, 64 people in this call, I'm saying something to you. If you believe 8 o'clock is the time to start working, if you believe it's 11, that's fine. If you believe it's 8 o'clock and you need 10 people in your organization to show up at 8, listen to me carefully. Either those 10 people show up at 8 or they go look for another job.
Yes.
Okay. As Indians, we are sitting in Germany and US and we come to office at 7:30.
Correct.
Okay. Yes. In here, I don't know what happens to us and what tolerance that I don't know we've started doing. If people are not showing up at 8 from work from home, they are not your teams. Right size them. You have a reason to let them go.
Yeah. See, the thing is actually some of our work people could be actually physically be present there in the production area. We need to build the systems. That's where I need to change that culture. Actually, you're exactly right. I need to be tough and bring that culture. Look, this is what the put some procedures in place that people have to comply to that. If not, then yes, we have to fire them and find someone else. This is what I'm thinking of. In those guidelines to actually, while at the time of hiring, that this is what my conditions are, employment conditions. So you better agree to that. If not, then I don't want you. But people are scaring me sometimes. Oh, okay, it doesn't work here. Sometimes people even don't answer your phone call at 10 o'clock. Now I'm still commuting, or I'm driving my car or a bike, so they don't even answer the phone call. That's what I'm sort of finding it a bit of difficult actually to understand the attitude of the people here. But and I'm determined to do that actually. As you said, I said you come on board, otherwise.
Oh, I think we've lost Jas. Just let's give him a second. Thanks, Vagish, for your question. I'm just going to remove your mic access so we can move on to the next question when Jas joins back. Mansi, if you could just check with Jas. Thank you, guys, for joining. As always, let's just give Jas a minute to join again. I think it's a great session, and let's get a few more questions, please. Oh, we have him back online. Hey, Jas, we had lost you for a second. We have you back now. Can you just say something? Hello? Jas, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you, Jas. I'm gonna connect Srikanth, the founder of eImpact.
Hi, morning, Jas. Thank you for a very candid talk. It certainly is very, very candid when I compare your talk to many other talks I've heard in the past in India. During the talk, you had mentioned or touched upon.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Shrikant. No, now I can.
Okay. I said thank you for a very candid talk. In my last 9 years in India, this is certainly one of the unique sessions where the speaker is as candid as you were.
I'll send you the invoice.
Definitely. Once I start making revenue, I would be happy to settle that. During the talk, you touched upon HR quite a bit. Are you, working with an HR startup? I'm just curious.
No. I'm not. But among the 10,000 groups that we are parts of on WhatsApp.
Okay.
One, yeah, I was speaking to, I think, GR at Huss's the other day. So yeah, one bunch of HR people, right? I mean, bunch of.
Okay. Yeah. And confession, in my startup is on HR, on talent discovery and management, and certainly which was considered to be a vitamin so far. I'm trying to figure out how to make it an aspirin, and your thoughts were very relevant to me directly. Thank you.
Yeah, find a way to how to make a new way of work from anywhere performance management. Nobody has got it, no?
Yes.
Work from anywhere performance. I mean, people log in, all their, I would even download a utility today for my team on understanding what, this has to happen, right? I want to know what my team is doing.
Right.
Are they on Facebook or they're not? I want to know that. I mean, this is the times have come, right? I mean, I have no money.
Right.
I need to know how much time you spent on which task. I mean, that utility is probably, probably 1 month away.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks again.
Thanks, Srikanth, for your question. Now we have Mayank. Hey, Mayank, you can go ahead and ask your question. Mayank, can you hear us? We don't seem to be getting anything from his side. We're going to move on to Sugunakar V. He's assistant professor at Lovely Professional University. Hi, can you ask your question?
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Jasminder Singh Ji. It was first time interacting with this forum.
Can't hear you. Give it a second to stabilize. Give it a second.
Can you just speak now?
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Jasminder Singh, for this wonderful talk. To be very blunt, I'm very new to this arena. So it was very inspiring the way you spoke. Try to be very clear in your talk. It was quite informative, and also I understood what is the way that we need to think on the lines. And basically, I'm a biology guy from biosciences. So right now I would like to looking for starting up a startup from my own for building a startup company. So that's the reason why I attended this webinar. So I would like to talk to you personally about.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you have any question, Sugunakar sir, if you would like to ask that question.
I don't have a questions. I'm just wanted to. I'm just trying to understand. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you can catch me on, separately. We'll figure out.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sugunakar sir. Now we have RTI Wala Services, someone from that company joining in. They don't seem to be connecting. We have Monica Mishra, founder of Ikea. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Jayant. Hi, Jazz.
Hi, Jazz. Can you hear Monica?
Not as yet.
I'll wait.
Let's get in. Let's.
Can you say something, Monica?
So, hey, Jazz, can you hear me now?
It'll take a second for it to stabilize. Monica, give us a second.
Sure.
It takes. Yeah, there you go. See, it's opening a new pipe, right? That's how the software works.
Okay, so Jazz, my question was about, when you are right sizing, of course, you have to go about the skill matrix mapping so that people can take up new tasks or new challenges or new objectives. And some of these team members may have.
We can't hear you. Can't hear
No,
you.
you can't hear me. Hello? Should I type my
Okay,
question?
you'll have to repeat, Monica. I'm
Would
sorry,
that be
please.
okay? So Jazz,
My ideal, yeah, ideal, yes.
I was asking, when you right size teams, one aspect is actually doing a skill mapping to see what can the existing teams do in terms of taking up new objectives and new challenges. And some of these teams you may or may not have known of their certain skill sets. So what is your suggestion? How do we go about doing the skill mapping?
Jazz, did you get the question?
I think I did. This is how do you skill map? So you will. It's not rocket science, right? I mean, you know your team, you know what skills people become. I think it's a very important time to start understanding people's personalities on top of their skills. I don't think we are a skill deficit issue here. I think we are a attitude / personality / character issue, which I think you need to think hard about. And unfortunately, you're not going to find a tool to map this. I think these are the days to keep your people who are are loyal, or people who are very committed to you. Give them extra tasks and make them successful. Yeah, that's just my advice in these very, very tough times. Bring back the people who have worked closely, even if they were doing some other task for you. Remap them to new tasks. There's the time to allocate. Make leaders out of your people. You can't be online all the time. People are sitting at home, so you might want a new way of new team structure, new management thinking. You got to redo everything. Think about all that.
Sure, Jazz.
Thanks for your question, Monica. Jazz, we have a few more questions in the questions tab of the chat window. So if you'd like to take those.
I'm answering that.
Sure. Oh, we can't hear you, Jazz.
There's another raise
right now.
Sorry.
Oh, there's another raise hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Let's take a couple of questions and move on.
Yeah.
Hi, Jazz.
I see questions in some other window. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Correct. Just a second, Yashwant, till the connection is stable. Jazz, can you? Yeah, Yashwant. Yashwant,
Can you hear me now, Jazz?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for the very good insights. I mean, it has been great call. And can you give us a few ideas on like if you did any hard pivots at at NowFloats, that would help us in these times. Like if you initially pivoted from the idea or done anything to pivot.
Yashwant, ask that question again, please.
Yeah. Did you do any hard pivots at NowFloats when you were in the early stage?
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, hard means the hardest pivot possibly on earth. We were a B2C platform for people to talk about their NowFloats comes from now, and you leaving a thought which was a float in the location that you are on, and other people who are coming to the same location use that float to find out. Let's say you're at Starbucks and you say the cappuccino is amazing, and you leave that there. Somebody else walks into that same Starbucks. That person is able to see what are the latest floats in that place? What are the discounts? Stuff like that. We had thought about a lot of things. We did this in 2012. There was no tele density or mobile density or internet penetration. And then we chanced upon the fact that, hey, the Starbucks doesn't have a website, or, in this case, bad example, the local coffee shop doesn't have a website. So they actually want to talk about, what about not even consumers? They themselves don't have a voice to talk to consumers. And that is a hard pivot from becoming a B2C to a B2B2C.
Got it. Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Yashwant. We have a last question now, Jazz. I think we'll take one last one, right? Before closing out.
Yes, certainly.
Hi, Funny. Oh, this. I think we'll return the mic from Funny, and we have Prateek. Hi, Prateek.
Give it a second. Yeah, give it a second.
Just give us
5 seconds. Yeah, talk something else for 5 seconds before the connection stabilizes.
There is a nice decal on right side of my wall.
Wait.
Can you see this nice decal?
No.
Okay, I'm going to repeat. There's a nice decal on the right side of my wall.
Okay, say it again now.
Yeah, I'm borrowing my kid's room for the call. Am I still audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Jazz, this is Prateek. Thanks for the wonderful session. I run an accelerator. It's called Assistive Technology Accelerator. It's for startups focused on building solutions for disabled people. So any tech which is helping people with disability. Now, hard things. This sector, this set of startups who are already facing hard times because we are not the fancy e-commerce, we are not the fancy food tech, ed tech, med tech, but we are disability tech. I think things just got more harder, in this time. Any piece of advice for sectors like us, which are already struggling with, less investment? A lot of people don't want to join these startups because they just don't know. The domain is such a hard domain to understand, which is disability. Any piece of advice for? And I have 10 startups, in the current cohort in ATA. So I'll pass on your message if you have any piece of advice for sectors like us.
You are in a very advantageous position, by the way. Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll give you two answers. This wake-up call that we have all gone through as a world, I was going to say as a country, but this is the world. The number of people who are going to leave their jobs after this all finishes and quit and become entrepreneurs or travelers or foodies, or the number of people who are going to live their lives like never before. You know that? Are we all sure? At least a million Indians are going to sign their resignations after in a month from now. And I don't know will they do startups or not, but they will first take a sabbatical and damn it, do what they've never done in their life. So this is just my view, and if you were to think about that, the second great thing happening in what is happening is people are also gravitating to purpose, a larger calling. You sit in that place. The number of people wanting to give back is significant. The third advantage that you have right now is that while the average person might not want to join either you, your accelerator, or your company, the funny thing is that out of 100 people, 95 don't want to join you, but the 5 who want to join you are going to find you. You don't need to find them. A, B, they will find you, and there'll be a sticky 5 people. They're not going to leave. They're driven by some other purpose. So I would encourage you to reposition and remessage yourself and go out and make yourself visible. So at least give people a chance. I mean, how many people you and I both know who have a larger calling? If you are not going to be available on some Twitter or Instagram, how will I know that I can work for you? And that's what I've been telling people all in all. All the issues that you will bring up to me, I will only have one answer. How does the world know?
Sure. That's a good point. Yeah. Sure. No, thank you. Thank you for your perspective. I'll definitely connect with you separately, but thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, Prateek, for your question. I think we're done with the raise hands.
Super.
There are few questions in the question tab, Jazz. If you would like to take them, we could, or we could end the session if you're already late for something else.
Yeah, I am. Give me a second. I'm not able to see the questions, man. UI has to change, man. Lalit. Okay. As per McKinsey, it would be 10 million across the world will resign. See, I didn't even know this number. McKinsey saying 10 million people will resign. There you go. Thank you for validating me, Sashi. I spoke only from my own thoughts. Okay, Mustafa here. Just do you have a website where we can find your talks? You got to be a motivational speaker. Okay, Mr. Mustafa, tell me how much are you going to pay me for every session that I do? Then I'll tell you, I'll put them online. Next question. Do we see more outsourcing while product companies think of right sizing? Yeah, trust me. Right sizing means finding the skills you absolutely need in your company. You're going to really start outsourcing the rest. You got to prove to the world as an outsourcing company that you have the technology and the processes in place. You do that, you will win. Kindly type the questions. Okay, very good. Next, yesterday itself exchanged some tweets. Mr. RTI Wala, I humbly wish to have your opinion in hiring remote teams versus getting job done by freelancers or project. If the this is a tough question. RTI Wala services, it is a phasing question for me. You need a core team to start with, and that core team always produces the next generation IP in the company. Once that product is built, it gets into the maintenance stage. You move it out to an outsourcing team. But if you are going to start your company and your idea with an outsourced team, I don't think you will succeed. That's my personal opinion, very opinionated on that, because your team is your IP. Don't outsource your first version IP to anybody else. They will not have your orientation. That's my answer, Mr. RTI Wala. Could you take up the questions typed here? Answer is yes. My question is, the early stage as a B2B SaaS startup, would it be a good idea to double down on product development? Should we for both, whoever this person is, Gautam, this is not an or question, this is an and answer. वही तो बोल रहा था मैं 1 घंटे से. Where were you? There's no choice. You have to write your product and do digital marketing. And since there is no travel required, we start our work at 8 a.m. वो मैंने बता दिया. Okay, I think we're in good shape, Jayant.
Yes, thank you, Jazz. I want everyone, please, a huge round of applause, and please thank Jazz on any platforms that you might be connecting with him. Anyways, thank you, Jazz. So I think we'll let you go since you're already late for your busy meeting. Thank you, and hope to have you again on our sessions.
Sure, I look forward to it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We haven't lost many people. 64 say 52. That's a good. That's not bad. Thank you all. Thank you, and please get back to work as soon as possible.
Thanks everyone for joining. So I think that was a great session. We'll be please give us some feedback so we can have more sessions like this for you. We really want to have many more of such sessions. I think Mansi has just put the link to the feedback form in the chat window. So just fill that up really quick. So because more of your feedback and more of your good feedback on such a session like this will encourage us to get more speakers like Jazz to come in and really shake up things as he did. So thanks again, guys. You can now go back to the networking area and chat with the other participants if you would like for a bit. Till the next time, see you.